coaching cafe meeting. So after a couple of years, because it was my activity 2 or 3 years ago when I've opened Coach Cafe for people who are interested in people potential and its development. Then I stopped that activity for a while, and now it's kind of reopening this cafe with special guest Valerio Pascotto. Welcome, Valerio.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
we also have two other guests visiting this coaching cafe. So the opening is quite, I would call it small, but hopefully it will bring a few more people next time. So now we are starting this short discussion. Maybe it will be long, we don't know. But we were thinking about the main title. You probably remember it, which was releasing potential. And I also pre-write big formula there on this whiteboard, which is Tim Galway's one, where first P is for performance, the second P is for potential, and I is for interferences. And if we are talking about releasing potential, we can kind of visit this formula from different angles. For example, my favorite angle is through those interferences, but there are also other angles, and we can just open these thoughts or ideas or points of views, just saying, okay, what is my preferred angle? And of course, Karel and Martin, you are invited to jump into the discussion almost any time because we promised that we will start with Valerio, who is great expert in Teams and other applications of this formula. But you are of course welcomed to join us anytime. So, Val, would you maybe open just the floor with your approach to this formula, and we can see some angles we are having here tonight. Oh,
Definitely. As I was looking at the formula over the years, it's interesting for me to notice that my focus and attention goes to interferences. And the reason for that, quite possibly, is the way that the brain is built. It's built with negativity bias. In other words, it looks at the negative because it perceives it as being a risk and a danger. And I would like to start by suggesting that that negativity bias might be overstating the weight that interferences have on potential, that the real weight on potential is the way that we think of potential. And so that would have been my question as potential has been mentioned a few times. What does it conjure up for you? When you think about releasing potential, what potential are we talking about?
yeah, I like this ball. Yeah, I can start, but definitely our guests can join us, as I mentioned. And I really think that, or my perspective of the potential is really the potential of, I would call it learning gene in our DNA. Yeah, I really believe that we have this kind of a gene in DNA which allows us to learn almost anything we want to learn. So it's my perspective on the potential.
It's interesting because when you look at it that way, what came up for me was then interferences can become a potential rather than an impediment because they are an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, yeah,
When it,
interesting point. Mhm. So how about this negativity bias in our brain? How to handle that? Because we could name some of, if I may call, typical interferences, and we could think about some reframing or rephrasing to join this interference with our potential. I'll try to put some sticky on. Just some interferences. For example, my favorite is black or pink glass in glasses. Is it spelled correctly? I don't know. Hopefully, yes.
It would
What do you mean, Michal, by the black or pink glass in the glasses?
Yeah, basically, I think that we tend to, I would say, with mm, sometimes with the positive programming, like you have to look positively on the world. It can be also interference for you because you wear like a pin glasses, which basically uh, change change the reality. Yeah. So for me, it is not the reality then. It's just the color you believe is there, but still it can be dangerous. I remember one boxer from our trainings when he mentioned that when I get satisfied with my fight, when I get feeling that I will win, I'm wearing those pink glasses, I almost immediately get punched back. So this is this pink glass, and also the dark one is or black one is similar. When I see something through fear, black glass, it's also somehow, yeah, changing the picture or changing the reality, and it can lead even worse. It can lead to stress reactions, basically. So when we are talking about some interferences, for me, those kind of positive or negative mindsets, if I may call it, may distract the picture of the reality.
It's an interesting thought. When is reality critical, and when the pursuit of reality could actually become an interference? So clearly, if I think that the car that is approaching me while I'm in the middle of the street is just an illusion and it won't hurt me, that would be very, very challenging. So there is a reality that we can't play with. It has to be acknowledged. But what happens when the acknowledgement of reality is an opinion? It's not reality itself.
Mm-hmm. So can opinion be an interference or barrier to the potential? I'm just thinking about another example of those.
It becomes an interference when I lose curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
when I treat the opinion as fact.
Mm-hmm.
But if the opinion engenders exploration and interest, curiosity, then it's not an interference anymore. It's a starting point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So maybe we are touching also kind of remedy for those, or rephrasing or reframing these interferences, how to change them to or how to change the approach to help potential to grow.
Yes, and that goes back to my original question, which was, how do we think of potential?
Mm-hmm.
When you say potential, my thinking is skills, strength that I have. But there's another level of potential that is seldom explored, and that is the potential of the collective.
Oops. I'm just thinking.
I mean the combination of the individual skills and strength, not the simple adding, but maybe even the multiplication.
Yes. Interesting point, if I understood correctly. And that is that when you're looking at a collective, when you're looking at interconnectedness between everything, then I don't have to work on my weakness because you have strength in what is my weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a collective that is really looking at potential, the potential is unlimited. We don't have to chase the strength and minimize the weakness. That's a very individual mindset. In a team mindset, I don't have to worry so much about weakness because it's somebody else's strength. And that's the potential of interdependency.
That's correct, but only in the case that all people in the group wants to cooperate, because if there are some bad how to call it in English, vztahy, Michale? Relationships between the people, then I think the collective potential is lower than personal, you know.
So if I understood correctly, the interference would be my individual mindset.
Mm.
Basically protecting my interest, wanting to be top of the food chain rather than anywhere else. So the different interference now, we're not looking at the way that we think of interference. We are looking at this mindset that doesn't see interdependence, sees individuals. How do you address that interference then?
I think we are touching also how to address interferences, how to handle interferences in global, if I may say this word, meaning, or from my perspective, interference can be kind of decreased in case I'm aware of that. So probably my answer to this question, how to approach individual mindset, is to really make it visible that it is there. Like if I can kind of confront group of people working together, and if I can somehow show or replay the video, which I don't have, but really to remind them their behaviors coming more from individual mindset than in, let's say, team mindset. I think this is, so from my perspective, an awareness of this interference is the starting point.
Yeah, but when we come back to what Martin mentioned, yeah, maybe you can clarify your position for us, Martin. But what I understood was that they do say, okay, we are talking teams that everybody is positively motivating and team that everybody wants to achieve the common goal. But what if we have a team where the people have bad relationships and even bad motivation in the way that they don't want to contribute. They just want to fight. They just want to damage the other. Yeah. So
they just want to work on themselves, not as a team, but as individuals.
yeah, maybe this is the basic question. Can we work with a team like this, or do we first work on the composition of team, maybe removing some some members from the team? Yeah.
If it is so easy, I still think that I have a group of professional anywhere in any field, and I know that they are doing great jobs. So before I remove anybody, I would like to at least get a feeling that I know which way to test first before I ask somebody to leave. Yeah, so I'm just thinking aloud that maybe we could think about some ways to test before I approach the guy saying, okay, you are not a member of the team anymore because you are the kind of strictly individualistic mindset and it doesn't help us very much, so please leave. Can I do anything before I do this? This is my question.
Of course, you can do. You can ask him why is this behavior like it is? If he has some conflicts with other people, and if they can solve it together. But no, it could be easy because from my experience, they always say I have no problem with other people. I'm okay with them. But you know it's not true.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, I think that what we can do is raising awareness of what is happening and raising the ability to see the happenings or the situation in full clarity. This maybe it comes back to the glasses you mentioned in the beginning, Michal. And what I always try to do is focus the attention of the people on the outcome of the meeting, for example, and trying to raise the awareness of what is happening and how it is contributing to the outcome they want to have. I think this is what we can do. Yeah, this is what we can maybe try to visualize or bring into awareness.
mhm. Yeah, it's too many questions in my head, but two of them or too many comments. One comment is it really team? Because if we use the definition, team is group of people having common goal. So first question, yeah. And the second question is another approach I'm using with teams is concerning their performance. I see it as a PL triangle. Also, Tim is using, Valerio is using with teams. It's like, okay, we have three aspects we can look with teams. Yeah? First is performance. I translate it into the Czech as results, výsledky. The second part is learning, or I would call it even continuous improvement of this work. And the third part is enjoyment. Do they really enjoy? What are they doing? And I would say that raising awareness in those three aspects could bring a bit more uh, insights, hopefully. So just idea connected with this raising awareness.
So a lot of use of the word awareness and raising awareness. And my thought was, how do I see that? How do I actually pay attention to awareness?
It's a good question.
Even better, can I see that? Or do I want to see that? Because if I'm not willing to look at the reality, um, and it can be back to the glasses, it can be my fear that it's not very good, or it can be even the glass color I would call I don't care. So I see some internal barriers inside myself. If I'm imagining that I'm in the position, you ask me, are you aware of such and such? So before I can see that, I even would say, am I willing to look to the mirror or to the reality?
So, if I understood correctly, I have an option. When I think of awareness, I can work on increasing other people's awareness, or I can work on increasing my awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the good news is if I work on increasing my awareness, the interference of those that are not interested is minimal because it goes back to what I control or what I could control in terms of my own awareness. So to start noticing how much of our conversation is about other people versus about ourselves, that would be a good indicator of awareness. Am I mostly aware of what other people are doing, or am I mostly aware of what I am doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So going back to the person that doesn't want to be a good team player, couldn't care less about the team and is just pursuing his or her agenda, what question might I ask to increase my awareness?
Why is he acting like this?
Help me understand the advantages of proceeding in the way you're suggesting. So I'm increasing my awareness about the reason behind that person's approach, as opposed to the judgment that I've already leveled around that person's behavior and approach. So I maintain a very curious, because if I have to increase my awareness, I have to be curious. I need to be kind of interested. What's going on here? Why is that happening? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? All these questions, very powerful if I'm focused on increasing my awareness. And
Mm-hmm.
they have nothing to do with the other person changing his or her behavior.
You know, Valerio, coming back to your question, what I would do if I try to raise my awareness, I would try to ask myself questions that raise my ability to observe rather than interpret or evaluate. So maybe I would simply ask or try to be aware of what I am observing right now, what I am looking at, what I am listening to, where are my thoughts, where is my focus? Just coming back to myself and just realizing what's happening with myself.
Very powerful, because as you were presenting these questions to explore, the first thing that I noticed is that judgment decreases.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not thinking of how terrible the other person is and what a pin in the neck that person is. I'm thinking about what I'm doing. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Lenka is coming. another guest to our cafe. I think this is important or interesting perspective. This connection with the judgment, how it's easy to look at others' behavior through, I would call it, judgmental lenses, or instead of being aware of mine feelings,
The
thoughts.
challenge is to avoid the right and wrong, because there's context, there's moments where absolutely I have to be judgmental. It's not the time to muse on what's going on, how I'm feeling, but it's a time to act. So lethal situations, they are not situations where you want to let go of your judgment. But on the other hand, there are situations where the judgment creates bias, impacts, diminishes our ability to increase our potential, becomes an interference, in other words. And the challenge is to distinguish when it's one case versus when it's the other case.
Still thinking about Martin's question, if we can somehow model the situation or just to play with a scenario. I have somebody in the team I'm working with who is really kind of individual mindset, interested only in his, let's say, career and his expertise. So step one, just imagining that scenario. So step one, okay, let's leave him for a while. Let's think about myself, and let's ask a few questions to myself, like what am I thinking of him or her? What am I feeling? So could we somehow try to describe such a scenario or process, how to help Martin? I'm just playing with this situation. Martin, sorry that I am using this example, but I think that it could be interesting to try to really test this way of thinking on that situation. I hope I'm not too complicated.
Guys, maybe before we go on, can I just ask Valerio to your last point, because I'm not sure if I understood the last point you mentioned. Yeah. So what I understood that you spoke about judgment when we are judgmental, and that it is important that we are aware of the situation where we are just judgmental, and then the judgment there are situations when it can be useful, but there are situations when it can be unuseful. Is it what you wanted to say?
Yeah, that's beautifully summarized. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That helped me. I was just unsure. Sorry, Michal, now we can go.
It's okay. It's a discussion. So I had some idea in my mind, but we can stop here because it even triggers me. Tell me an example where judgment is helpful.
Well, evaluating a result.
Like good work, bad work, or what do you mean?
I know what you want to say. If the result is defined the right way, then we don't need to be judgmental. Yeah. Okay, you got me. Okay.
And I'm not testing you. I also don't have the answer, so I'm just saying, okay, what
Yeah.
situation?
Judgment helps me. Yeah.
Lethal situations require immediate assessment and execution.
That I wanted to say. If I have to make a very quick decision, then it's easier when I am judgmental. I don't have the time for a real exploration.
So I have assessed that the situation has intolerable consequences. I have to step in and use my judgment. I usually call them lethal situations where you wouldn't sit down and say, well, tell me what you think about this. There's a fire in the room. I want to know how to get out of the room. And I want you to tell me. I don't want you to play coach. So in those contexts, judgment is critical. The challenge.
If I am on the street in the middle of the night and there is a suspectful shade behind me, then I better run away without exploring it.
It's fascinating because you used an example that many years ago I heard, and it was very, very much in line with that. Do you judge the appearance of a person? No, absolutely not. Not by the way they look. But do you judge the appearance of a person in the middle of the night on a dark street and they're coming to you with what looks like a menacing gait? So very interesting. The challenge is, are we correct in our assessment that it is indeed a situation that requires immediate action?
Mm-hmm.
That's where usually the challenge can come forth. We used to work for a company that had excellence as their motto. And they would basically be extraordinarily capable in crisis. Extraordinary. They really were. You would want to be working with them if there was a crisis. One day, one of their clients said, you know, you are excellent in crisis. I just wish that you wouldn't be in crisis so often. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's a challenge, yeah. Because I was thinking about another example that is not the big or the dangerous shade in the middle of the night on the street, but something more realistic in teamwork. And that's when there is a difficult task to be solved. And I know that I don't have the knowledge. I'm quite uncertain. At the same time, I know, and I think this, I don't know. I'm judging on my previous experience that there are some people who have a better knowledge or better skill in solving the task. Then I may decide to shut up and let them do. And I think it could be based on just on judgment or interpretation of some previous situation. And well, in situations where we don't have much time, it could be useful. Yeah? It could be, yeah. I mean, this is the crucial question. Should we take the time to explore and to observe what is going on, or to make the quick decision and just to rely on our judgment that the other person is capable of solving the problem?
Another extraordinarily interesting question. Amy Edmondson, who is a formidable thinker and has worked a lot with teams, one of the preferred areas was healthcare. And she looked at teams where you had the surgeon that was very much, I'm the only one with the expertise. I'm the only one that can do this. You are changeable. I am not. And teams where the surgeon was saying, thank you, without your help, we would not have succeeded. And notice the difference in performance between the two. So you had the surgeon that said, I'm the only one that can do this. It's my judgment, the only one that counts. To without you, I couldn't have done it, referring to the team of nurses, anesthesiologists, etc., the whole hospital. So interesting. going back to your question of should I contribute when I don't think that I have really much to contribute, or whether you have more to contribute. My question would be, what might be, from an awareness standpoint, what might you want to still be aware of? I understand you wouldn't step in and suggest, you wouldn't perform, you'd be observing, but what would you want to be aware of?
I would like to be aware of my, probably of my person. No. I just wanted to say that I would want to be able of being aware of my objective, meaning if I just want to take the time for myself to better understand, or if I just if I'm completely focused on the outcome we want to achieve, and I'm taking also the time into account that we would need to make myself understood. So I would like to be aware of what I am really aiming at. If it's my need to understand, or if it's the outcome and my evaluation, what is now more important.
I thought that you really, again, focused on a powerful learning point. And if I may summarize it, the awareness is about the goal, because that's what has created the team, group of people that comes together to fulfill a common goal. So if I stay aware of the goal, which is, let's go back to the surgeon, because the study reveals some fascinating interferences in awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm aware of the goal, we are operating on a person that has to lose his left leg. This is actually happened. This is a real situation. The nurse in the operating team clearly was standing back because it was none of the person's business to do the cuts or do anything. They just needed to observe. And the person noticed a hesitation as to whether the correct leg had been identified for amputation.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
You
person
mean
could
now
have
you mean the surgeon himself,
no,
or
not
the
the
person
surgeon,
standing behind? The person
the nurse that was just,
the nurse. Yeah.
that nurse notices this doubt. What should happen? Because very easy to dismiss is not my responsibility, number one. Number two, the surgeon is an expert. I'm sure that the surgeon hasn't overlooked whether it's the right or the wrong leg. So shut up and don't worry about it. That's a perfectly understandable course of action. Well, that course of action created problem because they cut the wrong leg.
Yeah.
Airlines, they face this all the time. Should the captain be in control of what's going on, or does the co-pilot have a say? The most deadly accident happened many years ago with two jumbo jets. Over 400 people died. Started exactly with the co-pilot questioning whether they were on the right runway.
Yeah,
And
Valerio, I still remember your wording. Is it lethal?
yes,
Is the objection lethal?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's when, if I remember the goal, I might find the courage to say, help me out. I'm not sure that, and the scourge, if it was the right link, because the surgeon can turn around and say, it's none of your business. Shut up. So that's what Amy Edmondson coined the phrase psychological safety. Is it safe enough to speak up if I have a concern or a doubt, even if technically it's not my responsibility?
Mm-hmm. I think this is quite important note. Like psychological safety can help the awareness, or can help the exploration, or can support the courage to clarify. Yeah.
And who would not want to know if you see and that comes down to, again, judgment. We've talked about judgment, and somehow the judgment is perceived as always carrying some kind of negative weight. I find it fascinating in myself. When we talk about being judgmental, I'm not talking about appreciating the value that you bring and being judgmental about the value that you bring and being proud of the value that you bring. I'm thinking judgmental as a negative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm assessing you in the negative. When I'm assessing you in the positive, I don't think of myself as being judgmental,
Mm-hmm.
but I am. I'm just judgmental in the positive.
Mhm. Yeah.
From my perspective, I think it's connected with the kind of definition of this judgment. Yeah, because from my perspective, judge means also the person who is judged, and almost always it's kind of a victim, or somebody who failed to follow the law or something, so a bad person. so I think yeah, from my perspective, this is connected with the definition of this judgment word.
And what would happen if we freed ourselves of that definition? So let me give you an example. Father saying to the son, of course you can do this. Is that a judgment? Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, it is.
Would I take exception to that judgment? Does it fall in the category of being a negative judgment? No. So would an awareness point help me if I started to pay attention of how many judgments during the day are in the positive versus how many of my judgments during the day are in the negative?
Hmm. Interesting exercise. And how many of these are just observations? I'm just thinking about third category. Yeah.
I found that for me to offer a positive trait about the person increases my sense of closeness with that person, my appreciation of that person, decreases the threat that one might experience. The psychological safety increases. There's a lot of consequences that come when I choose to see what I appreciate in that person as opposed to what they need to change.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we are coming back to the case Martin was opening up, that if somebody in the team has his individual mindset or something like that, which can block the whole potential of the team, then the first step could be creating some kind of psychological safety for such a person to be potentially more willing to be aware. Just thinking about this approach, yeah, how to approach. Because sometimes it can be quite difficult, yeah, if that person is really expert in the group, and I would prefer to keep her or him in the team. What attempts could I experiment with or try before we part away? Yeah, before we decide that it's not working. Yeah.
Carol, any thoughts?
Yeah, I was just I got lost in my thought because I was just thinking about my own experience. I'm not so sure. Maybe I just diverted, yeah. But I was thinking about my personal situation in my company, where I am the owner and the boss, and usually I work in a small team of 3, yeah. And I always, when we discuss something or have a meeting, I feel the urge to always contribute, yeah, to every topic, yeah. And I also feel that the people that the 2 colleagues of mine, that they expect it, yeah. They want me to express my opinion on the topic, but I know that it is not necessary always, yeah. And I always, not always, sometimes when I'm in a good shape, trying to improve our teamwork, I try to be I try to be aware of what is my motivation to speak up. Yeah, is it just because I am supposed to, or is it because I have something really to say? Yeah, and I have to acknowledge that very often I don't have anything valuable to say or anything new. I'm just saying my opinion because I'm expected to. Yeah.
But if it helps,
I was just thinking about this. I must say that this is useful for me, for myself. And I was thinking how to make it possible for our clients in a team coaching. Yeah. This awareness.
Very powerful, actually. Example that you offered. Very powerful. The expectation. What could you do differently?
Well, what I actually tried to do was to talk to my 2 colleagues about our strengths and about the areas where we need the support from the others. And this helped us a little bit, yeah. Because I told them, guys, in the customer care, I don't have the 20%. I don't know even 20% of what you know, because you know all the facts. And if I now tell you my opinion on a solution for a specific situation, it won't help you in any way. So if I am not contributing, it doesn't mean that I don't care. I just trust that you can solve it yourself. And by the way, this is something I try to do with the teams I coach. If we have enough time to deal with it, I try to make them aware of the own strength and of the areas where they need the support from the others.
I was about to
Let
ask.
them exchange on that on this topic. Where they are strong, not where they have their strengths. Where they are strong, and I made a mistake in English. Make them aware of the areas where they are strong and of the areas where they need support from the others.
I was thinking about asking you, Karel, maybe a bit more practical. If you feel the urge to give a comment or opinion, if there is anything like alternative course of action, if I may say, or something like that, that yeah, really this practical 2 seconds example. If I'm clear what I'm asking for. Because you described this situation that sometimes you are expected to say something. So I'm just thinking from the curious.
You mean about the specific example?
Yeah.
I can give you an example from today's afternoon. Yeah, we got a call from a customer claim. The product we sold them was damaged, and we were discussing how to solve the claim. Yeah, and I know perfectly that they deal like with like 5 claims a day, and I only deal with 2 or 3 claims a month because it's just specific situation that comes to my table, yeah, that I am looking at, yeah, and still I felt a big urge to say my way of solution, but then I just told myself, okay, what do you want to achieve now? And I just because I try to be honest to myself, yeah, then I had to tell myself, I just want to have it my way, yeah. But it is not necessary because they do it 5 times a day. They do it right. And just because I would do it a little bit differently, just a little bit, yeah. We would now spend 10 minutes discussing the issue. Okay, today I succeed. I didn't do it. But to be honest, usually I don't succeed.
Yeah.
I want to have it my way.
Still maybe a small detail in this description.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever try to manage these expectations, which seems to be kind of kind of placed on you, or how can I say it? Yeah, somehow 2 people are waiting, expecting me say something or say my opinion. Did you anytime kind of explore or yeah, this expectation? Is it even true? Did they tell you yes, we want and wait for your opinion?
Yeah. Is it true that they wait for my opinion?
Mm-hmm. Because you described it that they are
Yeah.
expecting you
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah. They only waited for my opinion because I happened to be there. If I wasn't there, they would make their decision and go on.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And if you
I
are
was there, I happened to be there.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just wanted to hear my opinion. But if you are asking me what is the reason for wanting my opinion, yeah, then I don't want to be judgmental now, but probably it's easier. Yeah. If the boss makes the decision, okay, boss made the decision, we do it this way. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
But
a
it could also be that they respect me. I also respect them. Yeah. That they just, if I am there, they just want to use me as a source. Yeah.
Mhm.
But what I tried to do today was to verbalize that by telling them that, hey guys, yeah, you've got so much experience. I can tell you my way, but I think that it is not so valuable.
Mhm.
Because, you know, I'm aware that it is not so easy because I just don't want to spend too much of your time just on my issue. I don't know if it's still interesting for you. Just tell me stop if you want me so. But
Me either. Me either. I'm not sure if I'm
we,
off tracking.
the time was
I find it
available.
very, very useful. Very useful.
What I just wanted to say that the choice for me, the time was available. Time was not critical. Yeah, we were not under extreme time pressure. Time is always valuable, but okay, it wasn't that serious. Yeah, but for me, it was just a moment of my awareness. At this moment, I just try to, maybe because of the trainings I have had with you, Valerio, where I experienced the frustration from the teamwork. And I really made a promise to myself that I will at least try to implement it in my teamwork. So from time to time, I have the ambition to do something about it. Yeah.
What came to my mind is if I was in the room and you walked in and you are the owner, I would even put it in the category of disrespectful, not to ask you what your point of view is. So being on the other side where you are the owner and I am your colleague, but I'm not the owner, not checking in, I don't think I would be proud of myself. I would ask myself, why didn't you even check in, Valerio, to see if there was anything that could be contributed? So now, if I think that it's a respect factor, then the big question becomes, how do I honor and respect them? Because they're coming from a place of honoring and respecting me. How can I offer that back?
Mhm. Well, actually, a difficult question. Yeah. Because if I don't offer my opinion, they might find it disrespectful, like, okay, he doesn't care.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen if, tell me what would happen if I was you and I would say, "Oh, thank you for asking. At this point, I don't have anything to offer that would contribute. I'm more interested in your thoughts, team."
Then it's perfectly okay. Maybe if I just remember them how much experience they have in this field.
And that
More
I checked,
experience than myself. Yeah.
and that I checked whether my contribution is critical.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to know my point of view because you think I can contribute. I just thought about it and realized I don't think there's much that I can contribute. They're doing just fine. Actually, they are offering solutions that I hadn't even thought of. So that mutual respect, I think, is the balancing act. They respect you. How can you respect them?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pay a lot more attention if you come back. So, thank you for asking, Valerio. I actually have a point of view that might be helpful. Now you got all of my ears, but you need to make that check. Is it true that what you have to offer? could actually have a significant difference.
Mm.
Believe me, that scruffy surgeon, boss surgeon, would have really appreciated if the nurse had said, I think you're cutting the wrong leg before the cutting happened.
Mm.
So it prompts me to have to ask myself, is my contribution going to make a difference?
Yeah.
And in doubt, I would stay on the affirmative. Yes, but I'm not sure. Then somebody says, no, it was very valuable. Oh, please tell me more. Tell me what you saw that was really valuable about my contribution.
Mhm. By the way, I'm getting awareness of time that we are almost 1 hour in a discussion. So let's have a quick check. How are we with the energy and interest to continue? I'm about 6 to 7 on 1 to 10. I think we covered a lot of topics, and I'm kind of feeling a bit tired, but willing to continue if the others are ready.
I would want to hear from Karel.
Actually, my limit is in 7 minutes, 20:45 our time, because I promised to bring our youngest son, who is ill, to bed.
Okay, 7 minutes.
My
6
wife
minutes.
was with him the whole day, so I told her that I'm having an online call, but then my turn will come at this time. So this is my limitation.
I think unless then, with that in mind, unless there is a real sense of need to use the 7 minutes, I'd be glad to give them back to Karel so that you can be with your son as soon as possible.
No, Valerio, thank you very much. But I just want to say thank you for the discussion, because I just wrote the word contribution in big letters on my paper, and this is something I will be thinking about in my next exchanges with my guys on the team.
Great.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you, Valerio. Thank you, Karel. Thank you, Lenka and Martin, who left, had to leave. Maybe next time we'll have more participants, and but still, I believe that the discussion was quite fruitful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mikhail, for organizing it.
Thank you very much, Mikhail. Thank you very much, Valerio, Lenka.
Thank you too. I was a little bit late. Sorry for it. Next time I will be in time. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Lenka.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.